be glad to introduce Dr. Abdelkader Djeflat, founder of MaghrebTech.org, University of Lille, France. Please take the stage.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for inviting me, my friend Allah. Assalamu alaikum. I am Abdelkader from Algeria, although it says I work in France, but you should know. I'll be brief. Everyone knows the challenges for those countries, and I think they're similar to those found in Sudan and the rest of the developing world. Of course, the challenges are now export diversification and reindustrialization of the countries and employment creation for youth in particular, competitiveness, world market, and sustainable growth and development. And of course, if we take the figures, we say that these things are very challenging because the figures show us rather than we are away from diversification. It's still rent-based economies, and diversification exports index show that. And also there is scarce funding for doing innovation, which is one of the key elements as put forward by our colleague earlier. So this can be achieved, or these challenges can be met, in our view, only to the extent that we can involve diaspora in the right way, either through academia, entrepreneurial diaspora, or through financial channels. Current situation of diaspora in a few minutes. In Maghreb countries, I am from Algeria, so I have the figures for all Maghreb countries, but I decided to stick to it. It's a long history of migration in that part of the world because of colonization and the historical past since World War I. Currently, about 100,000 entrepreneurs from the country living abroad in Europe. That is almost 10% of the total entrepreneurs of the country. Total of 100 people, 100,000 entrepreneurs and academics, intellectuals, 2.5 billion euros of remittances, but they also own something like 43 billion euros in European banks, which is similar to the oil income per year, which means the clout, the importance of this diaspora, of course. And in spite of that, in spite of all this power, only very little of it is really involved and committed to the development of home country. And that is a key question, and that is what is difficult to accept. Why? Because there is, of course, the mobilization is largely insufficient through the current policy, only individual initiatives here and there. I am one of those initiatives because I run a Maghreb Technology Network. I am chairman of that network. So I'm trying to mobilize some of the diaspora, but I can't talk about that. Discontinuity, of course, bureaucratic stronghold, and foreign preference, some of the obstacles which everyone knows, and it's, of course, frustration and lassitude and abandonment of sometimes from diaspora. And of course, at the background of that, you could feel, in spite of the political discourse, there is absence of strong political public engagement in mobilizing of that force, diaspora force, the lack of importance, the ambiguity of discourse, as I said, institutional instability, and so on. And of course, this is the taboo or mistrust. We tend to have the, I call them national competences living abroad and national competences living inland. And the current atmosphere is putting one against the other. In other words, there is a lot of mistrust. I don't have time to go through these taboos. I have a published paper you could find on the net, which explains in details what are those taboos. In other words, in fact, everyone here has got a different view of the other, and the result that is difficult to get all these two groups of national competence living at home and abroad working together. And they are in divergent positions rather than in converging. I don't have time to explain that, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. And of course, that doesn't help when there is a poor business climate with all these figures. It means the investors who are diaspora with projects cannot really, on top of lack of policy, mistrust, and difficult
business environment, it's difficult to bring them to, of course, contribute effectively. That's why we thought that this is a new opportunity, the new paradigm of knowledge economy and its implications. First of all, if we remain doing things as usual, business as usual, it will take 10 years, 25 years to get really the economy to an acceptable rate of growth, which is 3.5. Whereas you can do 3 times more in 10 years' time if you adopt knowledge-based approach. Knowledge and knowledge-based economy, to summarize it, is use of ICT, innovation capabilities, of course, excellence in education, good governance, and trust and confidence. There are several models, and this one is one of them, the 4 pillars, which World Bank Institute put forward. There are others, of course. And what is new also, this new paradigm of national competence living abroad, which means we are not talking in terms of stock, but flows. We are not talking in terms of flight of competences, but circulation of skills. So we have developed a new approach. Brain gain, of course, instead of brain, always brain drain. Boundaries of knowledge, and of course, the skills that go beyond the geographical boundaries. And the work we have done has shown, this is also published, that sustainability is directly linked to knowledge. If you take the ratio of sustainability and knowledge there, you see that how they are related. In other words, sustainability is heavily based on knowledge. The more you have knowledge-based, and the higher chance that you provide sustainability. And numerous opportunities, which are reduction of oil dependency, new fields of activities, particularly in the 2030 development plan and industrial plans, which are being put forward in most Maghreb countries, of course, and the challenge of innovation, which is the biggest, because ICT is more or less accessible. Innovation is the biggest challenge, and accessing global value chain, which is another major challenge. And current knowledge situation, those ratios show it, they're poor or weak, on average. If we consider that to emerging countries are scoring around 5 points or 6, we are rather in a difficult, less favorable situation. And of course, if we put this model to what could diaspora bring, it could bring, of course, a lot of things: academic entrepreneurs, diaspora, adequate financing, management and governance process, entrepreneurial skills, and of course, business, academic, and state-of-the-art knowledge. Success stories. Then I went on to look in the field. These are more or less the theoretical frame than what is happening in the field, really, which shows that it can be an avenue which is mobilizing more knowledge in this context of knowledge-based economy for the region. Then some success stories. Been looking at some of the outstanding success stories by diasporas in Morocco, in Algeria, in Tunisia. We have very successful companies in miniaturized camera in Morocco, for instance, which is now worldwide customer portfolio, 144 million cameras by 2012, and the world leader in micro camera manufacturing based on wafer level technology. We have another one on electronic payment system, which is also very successful, initiated by diasporas with R&D, and it is one of the 10 most leading companies in the world. And of course, on technological textile, while textile has been meeting a lot of crisis, it is doing very well in Tunisia, 7th exporter of textile to European Union, which is not nothing. And of course, in high technology in electronics, the Continental Edison and Universal Multimedia, 7% of world market, and their producer, they are leading in the plasma screen invented by this diaspora. This reminds me that it should be quick, so I don't have to do the job. Lessons to be drawn. Use of knowledge-based approach, all of them. What is common to all these success stories? And I have several success stories. I don't have time to expose them. So use of knowledge-based approach to all of them. In fact, they have been exploiting niches and of course, access to knowledge, transfer of technology, innovation, technological watch, and global knowledge networks. Conclusion. Some conditions for success. First of all, the diaspora initiatives have to respond to needs, effective needs. It's not the need you figure out and you go and expose it to the local people. It has effective needs because then it becomes superficial. This is from our experience. It has to be strong. There need to strong collaboration and complementarity between national competences living inland and abroad. This is from personal experience. High degree of trust between partners. Adoption of win-win position and considering powerful incentives. Mobilizing through channels. Since we did the research, many more diaspora networks have emerged. I don't have to talk. Strong political will because this diaspora, knowledgeable, experienced, high class, are in the last quarter of their lives. Okay? So I'm sorry, I don't put the morale down. But it's a situation. Sorry, Mr. President. I am at the first on the list. It means it's urgent to mobilize them because natural things happen. They happen to everyone.
They might pass away.
Yeah, well, not may, but will. A mixed policy of return and distance involvement with the local with mobility, building a new confidence pact between governments and diaspora. And of course, these success stories are nice to have, but they're not going to make a change unless you go to adopt major reform institutions because we have a problem of critical mass. These are only scattered examples. How to make many more examples so that it becomes an object of policy making in the long term. Thank you very much.